So Scheana Shay and her potential of joining the Valley for season 3. I am not excited. I'm sure most persons are not excited, and I kind of saw this coming based on what we got in the second season, especially the finale of the Valley, where she pretty much decided to confront Zach. No, we all know because she has been on her press run where we saw that she is basically writing a tell all book. And I am really alarmed by most of the stuff that she's bragging about and actually going on a press run about for a married person who has a child. I don't know why would you be doing a press run talking about the hookups of celebrities that you've been with and you're married and you have a child. Why would you do something like that? I can, for the life of me, understand her mindset when it comes on to certain stuff. No issues if you were maybe single or whatever moment in time where you feel like you need to discuss. But it's just the fact that when you put something like this in a book, you know that when you do interviews, they're going to ask you about it. And as much as, yes, what Brock did while she was pregnant is totally wrong, I still would not necessarily feel okay with my wife basically doing press runs talking about all of the celebrities that she has hooked up with. And persons asking her out of all of those celebrities she hooked up with, who was her best hookup. And she is so loving this attention when it comes on to this. And I think your priorities, Scheana, are not correct because why are you so excited to discuss relationships or hookups from in your 20s and you're married and you have a child? Now, if someday Summer sees this, she's going to see interviews where you're basically giddy and excited talking about persons you have hooked up with that's not her dad. I just do not understand her motive. Well, we already knew the motive is allegedly she wanted to do this to get back on TV and she secured her spot allegedly for season 3 of The Valley. But I do not want to hear in next season where we're just gonna get her drawn out voice and pretty much her basically discussing all that we have heard that took place in the book. And I don't want a re-performance of them acting as if like they're still coping with this um Brock basically having an affair or basically cheating on her doing while she was pregnant. That has been so many years ago, and yes, it's now new information to us, the audience. But I do not want to watch a season where we're going to see them pretend as if like they weren't acting like everything was all good prior. Even on this current season, I know she was not a main character, but we saw Brock in scenes and they seemed okay. So I'm not interested in to see a fake representation next season for you guys to pretend like, oh my God, now you're having all of these problems and whatever it is. Unless you're going to actually come on the show and basically the fallout from her disclosing this to the world and seeing how both of them navigate the information that was shared in the book, then that's okay. But I don't want to see you guys pretending as if like this is yesterday's information and you're now dealing with it like you haven't necessarily supposedly healed or sort of worked in moving forward from the situation. I do not want to see that fakeness when it comes on to that. Now, the next thing in the book where is we saw where she discussed Lisa Vanderpump. Right. So I don't want to see a actual. We saw in the book basically where she discussed the whole LVB situation and saying that she felt set up by Lisa Vanderpump in terms of the whole Brandy and Eddie of it all. In terms of, and Sheena, you were willing participants. You weren't a 15-year-old that was influenced into doing something you didn't want to do. You were in your 20s. You stick around, you stayed in the book, how you gave your all to the show, whatever it is. And I just felt like you got chopped from the show and you felt like you guys should have been on the show till the entirety. And because of that, now all of a sudden you're throwing Lisa Vanderpump under the bus to say that she manipulated you into broadcasting this information when you clearly had no issues sitting on this show season after season after season. Now, after 11 years, now you feel some type of way because what, you're no longer on the show? Why now are you throwing her under the bus? And the said person that you're throwing under the bus, you want to go on to our next show that she's an EP on. Now, how does that make sense? You felt manipulated in discussing this story between you and this. And even then, I was like, this does not make sense. And you trying to downplay it in present interviews as if like you were so. I confronted him. He said no. We weren't. He wasn't married. Nothing like that. And you just went on with. Are you that blonde that you literally just took his word for it? There was no sort of let me do my own checks. You were just that naive for you to just go along with it. And then when shit hit the fan and blew up in your face, and now you came onto a set platform where you had no issues discussing it and continuing on such platform, which I'm sure gave you many opportunities. Now you want to sit and say that the mastermind was Lisa Vanderpump and you felt like you were manipulated into doing this. It just does not make sense to me. I don't know what is your motive. I know you're trying to sell some books, but why would you feel like now is appropriate time to say something like this when you said want to get on to a next show that she's an EP on? Why? I understand being on reality TV. Well, not personally, but I understand if someone being on reality TV and the paycheck and your life, majority of your 20s going into your 30s, was TV. So all you know about is bearing and being, showing your life. I understand when you're no longer on it, it gets dark. You feel like where's the next paycheck coming from? Persons may forget you. You no longer get endorsements. So I understand you're pushed to go on, but don't knock or bite the hand that feeds you, basically, because I don't see why would you feel like you need to include that in a book. I know it's a memoir and I know that you're trying to discuss your life and be open, but that shit was not necessary at all. You talking about Stassi saying that she felt like she was never going to confront Lisa, but now she was on Lisa's show and now she's getting her own show. You just still sound like a bitter, jealous person. You did it with Ariana. Now, in hindsight, you're like, oh, I could see where she was really protecting herself. Like at 30 something year old, and this season was like 2 years ago. You are telling me you did not feel or understand where she was coming from. You were that caught up in the show for you to feel as if like she was just not doing her job. And it took you writing a book after 2 years for you to realize that, oh, she was just protecting her peace or energy. You and Lala dragged this shit out the entire season, and I would not be surprised if y'all are the reason why they decided to move on with a fresh cast. But now you're seeing in hindsight what what Ariana was trying to say to y'all dingbats from the get-go. You did not see that from the get-go. Like, I don't understand how now it is that you're understanding that this is where Ariana was coming from. And of course, you had your story to tell when it came on to Brock, but let me guess, you didn't want to overshadow. I'm surprised you did not want to overshadow the whole Ariana situation, because throughout the season 11, you made it a big deal that it's always about someone else and not about you. So I do not understand this point of you wanting to share this Brock situation when you supposedly moved on from the situation. Why would you want to throw someone? I don't know if you're trying to get ahead of a story before it actually became public knowledge, and then you felt like persons were going to beat you to say that you hid this and now it's hot topic. But why would you basically act as if like everything was fine? And then if you guys are supposedly working on or moved on from the situation, why now decide to bring it back up? Where now you're being supposedly brought onto a TV show platform, which I'm sure producers are going to ask you to discuss further. So we will see how long this marriage really lasts based on this information that was public knowledge. But her book was New York Best Time Seller. Kudos or congratulations to her. But for season 3 of The Valley, I don't really necessarily look forward to it because we know she's friends with Janet, and I can't take the fake pile on, especially if it's Nia and Danny and especially Kristen and anybody else who knows. I cannot take the fake pylon from them or ganging up to pylon to someone else. And it's just going to me turn into a mini Vanderpump Rules. And that is what scares me. But let me know, guys, in the comment section your thoughts were on the whole of this information. Are you excited to see her on season 3 of The Valley, or you do think that she should be permanently dismissed or kept the same energy or role that she had in season 2? Chime down in the comment sections your thoughts were on that. Remember, guys, to like the video and to subscribe to the channel, and I catch you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.